Back here on ESPN Bet Live, taking a look at the 9 teams that have started the season 0-2 this season. That list includes the Ravens and the Bengals, both of whom are still favored to make the playoffs. Since the playoff expansion to 14 teams back in 2020, only 2 teams have started 0-2 and made the postseason, though one occurrence did happen last year with the Houston Texans, if you remember. All right, Aaron, Joe, let's play a little Bet It or Forget It. Back here on the desk, Aaron, speaking of those 0-2 teams, I mentioned the Bengals still favored to make the playoffs. Minus 140 is the price you pay. Bet it or forget it.
I would bet this. Out of all the teams that were on that list, I would have to go with the Bengals, and that comes down to their schedule within the next couple of weeks. So in the next 4 weeks, they're going to play the Commanders. They're going to play the Panthers. They're also going to play the Giants. Now in the mix there, they are going to have to play the Baltimore Ravens. But I was between the Bengals and Ravens to really answer this question. But the Ravens, I feel like they have a tough schedule coming up. They got to play the Cowboys, and they're going to have to play the Bills and also the Bengals. So things could really derail for them in the next couple of weeks. So I do think the Bengals, knowing that they've done this before, we saw this in 2022. So I do think that they'll be able to make the playoffs. And if you feel comfortable laying minus 140 on the future, of course you could take that.
Bengals on Monday night are either going to annihilate Washington or lose that game outright and all going to fall apart.
There's no in between there. Too many extremes.
No.
Joe, just as easily a team could start 2-0 and miss the playoffs. You know, that's possible.
Yeah.
Seattle's a team out there that is now 2-0 to start this season. Even money to make the playoffs out of the NFC West. Bet it or forget it.
I'm betting them to make it, to be very clear. Yeah, there are some teams that might be 2-0 that'll miss. A lot of interesting ones in the NFC. Minnesota's one. Tampa Bay would be the one that I'd say they're probably going to miss. Wait one more week till they beat Denver and then go against them. But look at the Seattle team and then ask yourself, where are they deficient? Where are they weak? On defense, they're an above-average unit. Their quarterback play from Geno Smith is above average. I'm not going to sit here and say he's a Pro Bowler, but it's above-average quarterback play. In terms of running the football, they're an above-average rushing team. Mike McDonald, as a head coach through 2 games, has shown to be an above-average coach. They're prepared. They found a way to win in overtime last week against New England. Lesser teams lose those games in those spots, and if you look at the schedule over the next few weeks, winnable against Miami, then you're going to Detroit, then you're coming back to play the Giants. 4-1's on the table, and this price is going to be gone. This is a good team. Rams are banged up. They're out.
So are the Niners.
And the Niners are banged up, too, and that's a spot where don't be surprised if this team makes a little bit of a run at the division.
Yeah, no,
our McCaffrey unders are looking good, our futures bets on that. I hate to say that, but
he needs to get on the field first. You're absolutely right about that NFC West. Also, I think you're short selling Geno a bit. I know some people who think he's playing at an MVP caliber level right now.
Who are those people besides you?
say,
But the thing is, I'm trying to be conservative against that, right?
That's
like,
fair.
I want the rock
That's
bottom
fair.
version
That's
to
fair.
make sure I still feel good. If that's the upside, I'd be in great shape with this bet then, so thank you.
All right, Aaron, let's go to another 2-0 team, the Steelers, who, you know, they're winning games, but it certainly is not pretty. They're plus money to make the playoffs, despite this 2-0 start. Bet it or forget it.
forget it. I would bet no on this one. Does that like break your heart a little bit? Just because
it does.
You're always talking about the Steelers.
I know, because I think he just sits there realizing you'll all eat your words at the end. He's calm with it.
Steelers have won 2 games, but they beat the Falcons. They beat the Broncos. Like, they're still not that good of a team. The defense is really that good. I'll give it to them in terms of the defense, 100%. But that offense is averaging 10.5 points per game for the first 2 weeks. Defense does win championships, but my goodness, you got to put up points. You need points to win games, Tyler, as we talked about earlier on the show. So I am going to fade the Steelers. I don't think that they make the postseason. I think they just looked okay the first 2 games. They're 2-0, but the rest of the way is not going to be that easy.
They're 800-0 in one-score games over their last 800 one-score games. They do not lose one-score games, and it goes back years, and it is infuriating.
Some would say that it's not a flaw. It's a
pro.
I mean, like, there's bugs and there's bugs in programs, and for the Steelers, it's not a bug. It's actually something that benefits them. All right, Joe.
Impressive.
Contractually obligated to talk about the Cowboys here. Plus 150 to miss the playoffs. Bet it or forget it on missing.
I bet that one. I think you take a look at the upcoming schedule. You have this spot against the Ravens this week. If they lose that game, 150 is going to be gone, so you want to get ahead of that. They have the Giants the following weekend. That's a win. We'll put that out there. And then take a look at what's coming up after that. The Steelers, the Lions, the Niners, the Falcons, the Eagles, and the Texans. This is a sloppy team. We saw it in week 2. Once again, totally outcoached, no answers when things are going wrong. The defense has to play from a lead. If they don't play from a lead, they can't get after you. They can't pin their ears back. They can't stop the run. They're a mess. And offensively, hit or miss. We'll see them look really good some weeks against Cleveland. They'll get high on their own supply, as some people would say. And then they're going to turn around after that. They're going to completely flop the following week. It's classic Cowboys football. Eagles are going to win the division. It's not going to look pretty. And then they're going to miss a wild card spot because while the Rams are down, Seattle's up, Arizona's kind of up, Tampa's up, New Orleans is up. Green Bay's not going to fall off like we thought because Love's coming back earlier. So
I'm with you. I would take that, especially at that price, plus 150 on the miss. All right,
Let's hope it happens.
As a Eagles fan, shocker. Everyone hates the Cowboys. If you're not a Cowboys fan, you hate
That's
the
just
Cowboys.
not true.
I'm with you. Well, if you either love them or hate them,
don't.
that's why. I hate them like you,
I
even
hate
though I'm
them.
not an NFC East fan, so I want to see them miss as well.
I'd like to clarify something. Supply of wins. High on the supply of wins.
Oh, I see.
I figured that's implied.
I see.
Just figured I'd clarify.
I thought
Little
you were joking.
footnote.